Silence, you Thinkertons. I summoned you here because the world is about to end.
No, it isn't. What are you afraid of? Global warming? AI? Some sort of plague? Some sort of plague?
Hey everyone, this is ODD. And that clip was from The Simpsons, Season 29, Episode 11. They always put it out there. This situation that we've been thrown into is completely orchestrated, and it couldn't be more obvious. Right before all this started happening, all these TV shows and documentaries were coming out right before Corona actually happened. Here's a show called Explained that has an episode called The Next Pandemic, made in early November. This other show, called Pandemic: How to Prevent an Outbreak, came out in January, right around the time that news of the corona was blowing up and becoming well known. So it's easy to see that they are ramping up the programming. They want to condition us to think that this is all so normal, and most of all, they want people to accept vaccinations. There's a meme going around that says every 100 years there's like some sort of huge outbreak. In 1720 there was the plague disease in France. In 1820 there was the cholera disease in East Asia. 1920 we had the Spanish flu. And here we are in 2020, we got the coronavirus. They want us to think that vaccinations are beneficial for us, which they are not, and they never will be. They are using Tom Hanks to brainwash people. It's crazy. Check out these tweets. It all started on March 11th. Here's the first tweet. Hello, folks. Rita Wilson and I are down here in Australia. We felt a bit tired, like we had colds, and some body aches. Rita had some chills that came and went. Slight fevers, too. To play things right, as is needed in the world right now, we were tested for the coronavirus and were found to be positive. Well, now, what to do next? The medical officials have protocols that must be followed. We Hanks will be tested, observed, and isolated for as long as public health and safety requires. Not much more to it than a one-day-at-a-time approach, no? We'll keep the world posted and updated. Take care of yourselves. Hanks. Here's the next one. Hello, folks. Rita Wilson and I want to thank everyone here down under who are taking such good care of us. We have COVID-19 and are in isolation so we do not spread it to anyone else. There are those for whom it could lead to a very serious illness. We are taking it one day at a time. There are things we can do to get through this by following the advice of experts and taking care of ourselves and each other, no? Remember, despite all the current events, there is no crying in baseball. Hanks. And here's another one. This one has a picture of his typewriter, which is made by a company named Corona, just rubbing it in our faces. Let's read it. Hey folks, good news. 1 week after testing positive in self-isolation, the symptoms are much the same. No fever, but the blahs. Folding the laundry and doing the dishes leads to a nap on the couch. Bad news, my wife, Rita Wilson, has won 6 straight hands of gin rummy and leads by 201 points. 201, rubbing it in our faces. Event 201. Anyway, but I learned not to spread my Vegemite so thick. I traveled here with a typewriter, one I used to love. We are all in this together. Flatten the curve. Hanks. And he says flatten the curve. They say it means to manage the outbreak, but it's weird to me. Back when the Zika virus was being pushed on us, there was this guy named Dr. Agus that was on the news, and out of nowhere he says, "The world is flat." I talked about this years ago in one of my vlogs. I'll play a clip here. Dr. David Agus, he was on a news station round table talking about the Zika virus and how since the Earth is flat, he kept saying the Earth is flat.
Why are you so sure they're coming here?
Well, because mosquitoes, these kind of mosquitoes are here in the United States. And we now know that these mosquitoes can get Zika virus very easily from biting somebody. And the world is flat, right? The World Cup happened And then all of a sudden, people from Brazil went all over the world and transmitted Zika.
So if
We're
in
seeing
fact
more.
somebody comes here and has the Zika virus and a mosquito bites them, then that mosquito can spread it anywhere.
Exactly. One can lead to thousands.
What about the Summer Games, the Olympic Games, and the possibility there you have people from all around the world going to a place where they could contact Zika and then returning, spreading back out around the world with Zika contamination?
It's a public health nightmare. And so I think when we all look at this, we have to learn from it. Zika will be the first of many viruses over the years because the world is flat.
Yeah, so isn't that weird? The dude's trying to slip in flat earth. So yeah, as a flat earther, it just sticks out and it's strange. They have explanations as to why they say these things, but it's still odd. He says that the term, the world is flat, means that diseases spread easily. I don't know. Moving on, here's the last Tom Hanks tweet. Hey folks, 2 weeks after our first symptoms and we feel better. Sheltering in place works like this. You don't give it to anyone, you don't get it from anyone. Common sense, no? Gonna take a while, but if we take care of each other, help where we can, and give up some comforts, this too shall pass. We can figure this out. Tom Hanks is a go-to puppet. He's part of the club.
It's a big club, and you ain't in it.
That's why he was in the Da Vinci Code movie series. Here he is with Oprah. He has a black eye, and there's a pizza clock on the wall behind him, not to mention the sign he's holding. It just goes right over people's heads. All the celebrities we see with black eyes have been initiated into the club. They use and abuse adrenochrome. Adrenochrome is a drug for the elite, including the Muppets of Hollywood. It's made from actual human brainstem containing hormones from the adrenal gland. It's manufactured by torturing children. This is why so many children go missing every year, and Child Protective Services plays a big role in that. Anyway, that's a whole nother rabbit hole. We can focus on that in another video. So they are using celebrities to sell the virus.
Hello, I'm Tom Hanks. The U.S. government has lost its credibility, so it's borrowing some of mine. This is Tom Hanks saying if you're going to pick a government to trust, why not this one?
And check this out. Here's a bunch of celebrity propaganda.
Stars like Bono are singing about quarantine, shot from closer to 6 inches than 6 feet.
Yes, there is isolation.
Pop singer JoJo was warning young people to stay in.
I know you're born and want to go, but don't do it.
John Legend gave a quarantine concert with his wife Chrissy Teigen in a towel, accompanying John with a rear end assist.
Push your box away.
From Yo-Yo Ma playing Bach to Cardi B.
Coronavirus! I'm telling you, it's real!
Brooklyn DJ and producer set her rant to music.
Coronavirus!
With proceeds going to food banks and shelters. Is it any wonder that Wonder Woman herself, Gal Gadot, has gotten a bunch of celebrities together to sing
Imagine there's no heaven.
From Jimmy Fallon to Sia.
Imagine all the people.
From Will Ferrell.
For greed and hunger.
To Mark Ruffalo.
Good of man.
Gal Gadot says she was inspired by the trumpeter who played Imagine. From a balcony in Italy to comfort others stuck at home. Though some criticized Gadot's version.
Imagine
no possessions, sung by some of the wealthiest people in the world. But how about singing Have Yourself a Merry Little Quarantine?
We'll just have to muddle through.
Outside Nashville, Brenda Sparks has turned her Christmas lights back on.
And so we just wanted to bring a little light.
Into these dark days, others are doing the same. So is Christmas in March, Christmas all spring, actually going to become a thing? Might be worth it to deck the halls, if the halls are where you imagine
all
you'll be spending time. Jeannie Mose, CNN, New York.
It's self-evident. They do this all the time. Same way they're using Hollywood puppets to sell staged shootings.
Columbine, Virginia Tech,
Tucson,
Aurora,
Fort Hood, Oak Creek,
Newtown.
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 How many more? How many more? How many more colleges? How many more classrooms?
How many more movie theaters?
How many more houses of faith?
How many more shopping malls?
How many more street corners?
How many more?
How many more?
Enough.
Enough.
Enough. Enough.
Demand a plan.
Right now. As a mom.
As a dad. As a friend. As a husband.
As a wife.
As an American.
As an American.
As an American.
As a human being.
For the children of Sandy Hook.
Demand a plan. No more lists of names. It's not too soon.
It's too late.
Now is the time.
Before we all know someone who loved someone on that list.
No more lists.
No more.
Who they might have been. No more.
If we had just done something yesterday. It's time.
We can do better than this.
We can do better than this.
It's time.
It's time.
It's time for our leaders to act.
Demand a plan. Right now.
Right now.
You! Demand it!
Enough.
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 A new investigation by USA Today raises some serious questions about the FBI and how they track mass murders. And what they found was troubling. Two of the most infamous mass killings in recent U.S. history weren't even recorded on the books. The FBI database is supposed to track all homicides across the country, but not one of the 26 people killed at elementary school made the list. Also, none of the 12 people killed in a made the list.
Or to oppose Donald Trump to make him appear legit.
On Tuesday, November 8th, this country will make one of the most important decisions in its history. You have a chance.
You have an obligation
to be a part of that decision.
You might think it's not important. You might think you're not important.
But that's not true. And the only way we can prove that to you is by having lots of famous people.
Lots of famous people. Lots and lots of famous people.
Just a shit ton of famous people.
Repeating how important.
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 How important it is. Register.
Vote.
So many famous people.
Some of us aren't as famous, but still pretty famous.
Like, you've seen us somewhere.
Sometimes a not famous person will be mixed in with the famous ones.
They drive the message home
because of their unpolished sincerity.
Their unpolished sincerity.
But you only get this many famous people together if the issue is one that truly matters to all of us.
A disease or
ecological crisis or
a racist, abusive coward who could permanently damage the fabric of our society.
I don't think I'm going to sit down, actually. I don't think I could sit down right now.
A stunned Stephen Colbert reacts during his live election coverage last night as the results start to swing in Trump's favor.
How did our politics get so poisonous?
I still think that in her lifetime she deserves to be the first female president. And that's what makes me so sad.
Miley Cyrus uploads that grief-stricken video while Lady Gaga posts a picture of her protesting with the caption, "I want to live in a country of kindness." Katy Perry goes off in a series of enraged tweets saying, "The revolution is coming." Snoop Dogg shares a picture of Toronto's skyline, calling it his new home, and asks Drake to give him the hookup on some property. Practically all of Hollywood has something to say on social media about last night's results, and the overwhelming majority of it is negative.
These people don't care who the president is. They sold their soul to live in luxury and have selfish, materialistic lifestyles. They do whatever they're told by their handlers. Now, here's a funny video that Tom Hanks' son put out mocking truth seekers and defending his dad.
Hey guys, I'm really stressed out right now. It's been coming to my attention that a lot of Trump supporters have been figuring out the truth about me and my family, you know, being in the, you know what I'm talking about? And I don't know what to do right now because everything's starting to come to light. I mean, these extremely reliable websites like 4chan, 8chan have been exposing shit. And it's like if somebody wrote it on the internet, you know it must be true. And it is true. So it's like, I don't know how this is going to affect our whole New World agenda. Ever since The Simpsons predicted my dad being the spokesperson for the coronavirus, even though they didn't predict anything, it's been troublesome, to say the least. I guess I'm just gonna have to work extra hard at my human sacrifices. I'm late for one right now, and I'm a little hungry, so I might eat someone's pineal gland on the way. But just know that we're watching you, and if you're talking shit on the internet, you're gonna be the first people sent to the FEMA camps. So,
Look at the tattoo on his chest. Unreal.
I'm up in Sin City and I'm so gone. She at the hotel with no clothes on. She been waiting so long. I've been waiting so long, so long. Yeah, I got the plug, yeah I do. But I ain't no drug dealer, just kicking with the thugs. When it comes to the white boys, not one real. Got my bitch with bitches too. Showed her how we living, now she not with you. Hey, young niggas, we got the juice.
First of all, I want to start off with those studio gangsters out there.
No, wait. What's a I just want to define it for middle America, a studio gangster.
It's somebody that's not real. They go in the studio and all of a sudden become hard.
Tom Hanks' son wants to be able to say the N-word anywhere he wants to. He's a rapper. He goes by Chet Hayes.
Hey, my bitch, we got the juice. Straight out of Brentwood.
And he is now on a mission to explain to the world why he should be able to do this.
Hip-hop isn't about race. It's about the culture you identify with. And can't no one tell me what I can't say.
Rapper Chet Hayes, a.k.a. Tom Hanks' son, is making waves not with his music, but with his choice of words. In a recent Instagram post, Chet is defending his use of the N-word, following a frenzy of angry comments on his Instagram page after he used the N-word in a photo caption, okay?
He's probably very comfortable using the word in the safety of the suburbs. But I bet he won't come to the hood and use the word. He's in LA. If you won't go to Compton or Watts and use the word, then just be quiet, boo.
Well, I've written the film. Maybe they'll produce my film, The Last Nigga on Earth, starring Tom Hanks.
Madonna is also being used to sell the virus. Look at the typewriter she's using. What a coinky dink, wouldn't you say? Okay, next we have a Dean Koontz book that has a very interesting connection to our current situation. Let's check it out. Alright, so chapter 39 of Dean Koontz, The Eyes of Darkness. Let's skip to page 353, and we'll read this. I'm not interested in the philosophy or morality of biological warfare, Tina said. Right now, I just want to know how the hell Danny wound up in this place. To understand that, Dombey said, you have to go back 20 months. It was around then that a Chinese scientist named Li Chen defected to the United States, carrying a diskette record of China's most important and dangerous new biological weapon in a decade. They call the stuff Wuhan 400 because it was developed at their rDNA labs outside of the city of Wuhan, and it was the 400th viable strain of man-made microorganisms created at that research center. Wuhan 400 is a perfect weapon. It afflicts only human beings. No other living creature can carry it, and like syphilis, Wuhan 400 can't survive outside a living human body for longer than a minute, which means it can't permanently contaminate objects or entire places the way anthrax or other virulent microorganisms can. And when the host expires, the Wuhan 400 within him perishes a short while later. As soon as the temperature of the corpse drops below 86 degrees Fahrenheit. Do you see the advantage of all this?
It's a big club, and you ain't in it.
What is this shit?
That stuff? Adrenochrome.
Adrenochrome?
Next, we have the lines between reality and fiction being blurred, which is my favorite subject. Movies that tell the truth, and news that lies.
They put the truth in the movies and lies throughout the news. They manufacture opinions and form all of your views. Keep on fighting till I ain't got no more fighting. They tell the truth in the movies and then they lie on the news. When I say they, I mean the Jesuits and Zionist Jews. So I gotta let...
The movie Contagion from 2011 has a scene with Dr. Sanjay Gupta, a world-renowned neurosurgeon. And right now, Dr. Gupta is playing this movie role out in real life.
There are stories circulating on the internet that in India and elsewhere, the drug ribavirin has been shown to be effective against this virus. Yet, Homeland Security is telling the CDC not to make any announcements until stockpiles of the drug can be secured.
Well, Dr. Gupta, there continue to be evaluations of several drugs. Ribavirin is among them. But right now, our best defense has been social distancing. No handshaking, staying home when you're sick, washing your hands frequently.
Avoid sick people, wash your hands often, try not to touch surfaces, disinfect areas that may have been contaminated. And then, you know, if we start to see community spreading, then there's this term that public health officials use called social distancing. Distancing yourself from people at that point. Staying home, maybe from work, keeping the kids from school, looking around your house and saying, look, if we do get into this point for a couple of weeks where we're worried about community spread, do I have enough supplies in the house to be okay? Do I have my prescription?
It's easy to say that this is normal, but of course it seems normal when you're born into this crazy world, which happens to be a stage. The big club we were discussing earlier is a club that all these guys are in. Neil deGrasse Tyson is in it too.
That stuff is flat.
Neil, I gotta say, you're totally blowing my mind right now.
That's what I do. I'm Neil deGrasse Tyson. Bitch, 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 bitch. What I will say of this virus, I think we're in the middle of a massive experiment worldwide. And that is...
Where are the guinea pigs?
Maybe. The experiment is, will people listen to scientists?
These guys are all listed as actors, not because they've been in movies, but because they will act out any role needed for any agenda that needs to move forward for the satanic cabal that desires nothing more than a one world order where humanity is completely under control and monitored at all times with microchip implants. There's a meme going around online about a company that has the Resident Evil umbrella logo, and someone is claiming that this lab is in Wuhan and is where the virus originated. But the lab is in Shanghai, and no one knows if it had anything to do with this. Still kind of funny, and it basically reminded me that the people that really are responsible for everything that's going on, they are the closest thing to the Umbrella Corporation from Resident Evil. It's truth in plain sight. Make it seem like it's fiction, but it's actually happening in real life. In the video game and the movies that came after, The Umbrella Corporation is a multinational conglomerate with subsidiaries active in a variety of industries, including the production and sales of cosmetics, chemicals, and pharmaceuticals, industrial machine production, consumer products, health foods, the transportation industry, and tourism. Umbrella's large array of subsidiaries is typical for large-scale corporations, though it was purposely built to cover up illegal activities. Umbrella is the developer of biological weaponry for militaries across the world as part of a worldwide conspiracy to accumulate deadly viruses. Umbrella's true goal is not a capitalistic urge for monopolization of a lucrative industry, but their goal is eugenics. They want to birth a new race of virally enhanced and well-educated superhumans who would advance human civilization for generations to come, with Umbrella's founders ruling through them as gods. Umbrella Corporation from the video game is a nod to the Vatican, Rome, black nobility, and the Jesuits. The Umbrella logo is a Maltese cross for the Knights of Malta. The Vatican, black nobility, Jesuits, Knights of Malta, along with the Rothschilds, are behind the world's top banks, media, governments, think tanks, leading companies and brands, etc. They are an umbrella covering everything, similar to an octopus using all of its arms to control everything that it can. Everything that's under the umbrella belongs to them, and it's not changing anytime soon. This game is going to play out the way it's going to play out, and I'd love to be able to do something about it, but we can't. What we can do is live righteously, be good people, treat each other like we want to be treated, and take care of our own. Be a great mother, be a great father, brother, sister, be a good neighbor, educate yourself and your family, grow your own food, practice alternative medicine, and take back as much power as you can from the system by not participating wherever possible. Form a relationship with the Creator. I personally have certain issues with the Bible, but at the same time, I recognize the beauty and the truth in it. There are things in there that are questionable, and things that I don't necessarily like or believe to be true, but I continue to study it and try to learn what exactly it's all about. Something inside it calls out to me. Other things make me want to run from it, but that's what captivates me about the whole thing. God knows what else has been done to it throughout history, but it seems there's enough truth in it to make it worthwhile. And there are things written in there that are coming true right before our eyes. If you would read it and compare it to what's going on, it's right there. So that keeps me really taking it more serious than I usually would. I know we are created, and I know we are living on and within a creation. It couldn't be more obvious with how intricate the human body is and how well thought out the earth seems to be, with the oceans, the lands, the foods that grow out of the ground, and the way the heavens are crafted to be a perfectly functional timepiece. The stars and the wandering stars, including the sun and the moon, are all a part of a carefully designed clock. When you really think about all this, creation can't be denied. Not to mention that there's absolutely no proof for evolution. Even gravity and the Big Bang can't be shown to be real. Everything we think we know, everything we're taught in school, is a lie, and the majority of the lies are there to hide God from us. Open your eyes and start looking for the answers. Some things we can figure out, others we can't and won't. We weren't meant to know everything and how all this works, but we should be thankful and give praise where it's due. This corona stuff is all planned to wreck our economy, scare people enough to accept the vaccines that are coming, and give these psychopaths more power and authority over our lives. More less privacy, and another step towards the one world order. This has been ODD. Thanks for tuning in. Kill the programming and never sleep again. Take care, my friends.
On your blog, you also wrote that the World Health Organization is somehow in bed with pharmaceutical companies.
Because they are. That just stands to gain from this. They're working hand in glove. And the hand is reaching into our pockets.
We face the same danger today that we faced in 2009. The same toxic pandemic vaccines can be given to us in the event of the pandemic emergency level 6. Big pharma companies have got greater control over the WHO's pandemic early virus warning system, allowing them greater opportunities for virus pandemic hype.
There's only one story the entire world is talking about: the coronavirus, aka COVID-19.
Well, just a crazy scene at a grocery store where toilet paper has been in high demand.
Yeah, surveillance video shows a stampede of customers clearing the shelves.
Fights over toilet paper breaking out in grocery stores as shelves run empty.
Look, I don't know if you guys know it, but you're out of toilet paper.
Well, the spread of the coronavirus has also led to a lot of spread of misinformation.
There are more rumors going around on social media about how to avoid the coronavirus. Eating garlic, drinking bleach, snorting cocaine, yes, and masturbation are not miracle cures for coronavirus. So, Dr. Drew, are we overreacting?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I'm hearing this from doctors left and right.
Yes, and we are not overreacting. The press is overreacting, and it makes me furious.
The authorities talking about death tolls in the tens of thousands, when in fact it is about 500.
Okay, so let's talk about what's really going on. Now that the coronavirus is actually affecting my family by shutting schools down and shutting down schools across the nation, something just since the beginning hasn't seemed right with this coronavirus. And now looking at the recommendations on how to kill it, it's a weak-ass virus. Like 80 degrees kills the virus. I'm like, I haven't really heard of a virus that weak. Just drinking hot water can kill it. Drinking water without ice. Vitamin C can kill it, no problem. Just being in the sun can kill it. Laundry detergent kills it. The second it hits your stomach acid kills it. I'm like, wow, that is like the weakest virus that I've ever seen. And really the symptoms, it can only live on your hands 5 to 10 minutes. On metal it lasts longer, but it doesn't cause a sneeze. And the survival rate is great among people who are healthy. Only 15% of people have more symptoms. Only 5% of the people will need medical attention. Only 2% death rate in people with compromised immune system. And then I remember my wife telling me there's actually a patent on the coronavirus. And I'm like, nah. I'm like, that figures, because the drug companies, I wouldn't put it past them. But then I looked a little further, and there is a patent on it. It's patent US 200-625-7852, a U.S. patent on the coronavirus. And it was applied for, and it's called Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome, coronavirus. And that was applied for in 2006 by a company called Chiron. And now I'm not like into conspiracy stuff, but when it starts affecting my family, I want to know what the hell's going on. And so this company, Chiron, applied for it and was granted this patent on this virus, which was then bought by GlaxoSmithKline, one of the 10 largest pharmaceutical companies in the world, who happens to specialize in vaccines. And so a vaccine usually takes
2 to 2.5 years to get approved because they have to do safety testing and stuff like that. So now I'm looking into, maybe there's a coronavirus vaccine. And sure as shit, there's a European patent on a coronavirus vaccine. European patent EP 3172319B1. That was applied for in 2014. And what do you know? It was just granted in November of 2019. What perfect timing. So now my mind's racing. It's like, what the hell is the whole plan here? And now that they're starting to shut schools down, you know, I may just be hypothesizing here, but I'm feeling like they're going to shut down all the schools, and this is a big pharmaceutical play to... All of a sudden they're going to say, here comes the savior with the vaccine, and they're going to swoop in, and then in order for your kids to be able to go back to school, they're going to have to get this coronavirus vaccine that they just all of a sudden came up with 6 years ago. So, just some food for thought. Do your own research. I wouldn't fall into the hype. You know, people with good immune systems, they got nothing to really worry about. So that doesn't mean to be stupid. Still take precautions, but I would look into it a little bit and spread the word.
Spark yet another fake pandemic and push for global mass vaccination campaign.
They have to get the shot. The vaccinations are so important. This is really going around now. They have to get their shots.
We can be given this pandemic vaccine by force, and there are provisions for forced quarantine.
You know, I don't know if you guys been paying attention to the 5G conspiracy.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
You know, there were people, pundits, the internet, before 5G was rolling out, saying that don't roll it out, don't get 5G, stop the government from 5G. It's gonna have serious health complications on the world. These microwaves and these signals in the air could have dangerous implications.
The president tweeted out earlier today, I want 5G and even 6G technology in the U.S. as soon as possible. It is far more powerful, faster, and smarter than the current standard.
I want to thank you all for being here to discuss a critical issue for our country's future. Winning the race to be the world's leading provider of 5G, cellular communications networks. It's all about 5G now. We were 4G and everybody was saying we have to get 4G. And then they said, before that, we have to get 3G. And now we have to get 5G, and 5G is a big deal. And that's going to be there for a while. And I guess at some point we'll be talking to you about number 6. What do you think? Do you think that's true, Asia? But right now we want to be the leader in this. We're the leader in almost everything else. During our visit, we discussed the importance of a secure 5G wireless network and the need for this emerging technology to be a tool for freedom, progress, prosperity, not to do anything where it could be even conceived as a conduit for suppression and censorship.
While all of us were locked in our houses, Trump signed 5G and beyond. H.R. 2881. Wonder how Q and the Trumpeteers are going to write this one off. How are they going to deflect this one? Secure 5G and Beyond Act of 2020, signed by your wonderful president on 3/23, the day that the house arrests began, was it not?
We're living in the Twilight Zone. They claim you have freedom, but they don't honor it. The world is a prison and you're the occupant. We're living in the Twilight Zone. The government's useless and they're incompetent, and satanic pedophiles are prominent. We're living in the Twilight Zone. The things that you believe are the total opposite, and being called crazy is just a compliment. We're living in the Twilight Zone. It's ran by the New World Order conglomerate, but there's a storm coming and there's no stopping it. We're living in the Twilight Zone.
It's where we live and control you to fear it.
terrorism. They wanna keep you in a mental prison with